Hey, welcome to Dominic. This is our first podcast. I'm Nate. So here we're just going to talk about a lot of health-related issues, bodybuilding, stuff that's going on in the world. Kind of get into. I'm good for the rants. I know that. But like I said, we'll talk about some good topics. Have a few Q&As after we get settled for a few. But I'll let Dom introduce himself, and we'll go from there.
I'm Dominic. Uh, I'm a coach here in Michigan. What else? A lot of people know me, so it should be pretty well well versed in all this.
Yeah, I'm going to be the one most people don't know.
No, I don't know. In the beginning, it'll just be all of our people watching.
I know. Then it'll branch out little by little.
Yeah. All right, so you could start us off. How'd you get into the sport, education, stuff like that?
Yeah, so obviously, I actually was in the construction field for a long time. We got into the sport in heavy 2006. A lot of people, some know, most don't. I was a heavy drinker, and we kind of came down from there. And it was I found the gym as my release, and we continued that path. 2006, I said, yeah, I'll do a show. And obviously, I had no idea what that would entail. I just trained and thought I was eating a good diet. But in 2008, I enlisted the services of Dave Barry and did the Natural Michigan. Uh, so obviously, once that happened, kind of fell in love with everything that went on. And, everything kind of blossomed from there. Um, he really brought on a lot of the education aspect. He was more of the science person rather than the quote unquote bro. So that's why I'll continue to figure out more ways and learn more ways as we go for all this. My background is I'm actually a certified teacher, but I also hold a math major. So obviously I relate closely to numbers when it comes to things. So that's pretty much about it where we're sitting from here. I do coach on the side, definitely not to the extent of Dominic over here, but I do help out a few people here and there.
Yeah, you do. And whenever I can't handle anymore, I send them over to you.
Or we just put our heads together and figure out what's wrong.
That's true. That is very true. Like we just did.
Yeah. I guess that was a pretty easy one though.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some.
That was like 90. That's like 95% of the time. What's going on?
Yeah. But like you said, it comes with age. So
yeah,
you get that maturity, you understand what the sport entails, and then you go from there.
Yeah. So how I got into the sport, I played soccer most of my life, and then we started weight training and stuff for soccer and everything. And then two of my best friends one was a football player, one was a wrestler, so they trained a lot, and then would always tag me along in the gym in high school. And then I started to like it a lot more, and a lot more than they did, because once they were done playing sports, they stopped really working out as much, and I just kept going on with it. I got into the competing stuff in 2017, so it's only been like 3 years. But I hired a coach out of Canada and did my first competition, and then after that, I was just hooked.
Oh yeah,
I was hooked. But I was actually going to go to dental school. I'd taken my DAT, I was accepted, and I ended up rejecting the acceptance and doing my master's in exercise physiology. And then now I'm here. So I'm happy that I didn't end up going to dental school.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and then I certified personal trainer. I personal trained for about 2 years. I also have a nutrition certificate as well. But that's pretty much it. Not too much. Not too much going on.
So not too extensive. I know you have definitely practiced what you've preached over the years. Coming from a very small, what was the starting weight?
Where my starting weight?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like 130 on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
190 today.
yeah. I was like 130 on stage first show. Second show a year later, I got on stage at 155. And that was because that off season was next to perfect. It was like every meal, everything was dialed in perfectly. But like, and I feel like a lot of guys want to grow and want to do that, but they don't want to sacrifice their off season like liberties, I guess, like, you know, going out with friends still and like and eating it with them, drinking with them, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of guys don't take those off seasons as serious anymore. And that's why they on stage the next year they maybe a pound or two heavier.
yeah, that's carbon me right there. I obviously I've worked with a few people, and I could never get anybody to tell me where my potential lied. And then, well, probably would have been almost 2 years now. CJ sat down with him, and he said, "You have a ton of potential in this sport, and see where you can take it." That's when I took that off season really serious, dialed in food, training, sleep, everything that needs to go into it.
Yeah,
And
and it makes
that's,
a world of difference.
I mean, you look at pictures and night and day.
And that's just from one off season.
Yeah,
Imagine 5, 10 off seasons like that consecutively. I mean, that's why the best of the best are who they are. Just
yeah,
because that's how they treat it. It's a year round sport. And
yeah.
that's why you see those guys always progressing.
But then you also have the guys who think that supplementation is the proper. That's the only way it's going to take them to the promised land.
Yeah. Like they're not so concerned about the food and whatnot. They're more concerned about how much and what they're going to be using, when they're going to be using it.
Yeah. And then unfortunately their diet goes to hell in a handbasket, and well, they come back the exact same,
Yeah,
no change.
and you can always see it too. Um, but it's definitely different for who do follow off seasons. Like that was I put on like almost 40 pounds and then cut down for the second show, and I was 15 pounds heavier on stage, and I was better conditioned.
Yeah, that I mean, yeah, I mean that's perfect. I mean, my first 2017 when I actually entered light heavyweight, I think it was 192, and then got down to the Michigan to 193 a year later, and then last year we barely made 198, and but the conditioning was so much tighter. So in
Yeah,
my eyes, I'd probably put on 10 to 12 pounds.
yeah. I was gonna say you probably put on a lot of tissue between then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and obviously a good solid year, anything above 5, in my opinion, is a great year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
All right. So we had some big news that happened yesterday.
oh
So
yeah,
um, rest in peace to Luke Sandow. It's really sad to hear that about him. And just all those people that are maybe struggling with mental health a little bit more right now because of what's going on. On top of them already struggling with it, everything that's going on in the world today just furthers that for a lot of people.
big
So,
time.
like, we encourage anybody that needs help or is seeking help to get it, and we're all here if you need to talk to anybody. So, and there's plenty of professionals out there and things like that that are always at the service, ready to help people.
Yeah, I mean that's 100% true. I mean, this is, we're going on in a place we've never really gone before, had to go before. Um, you know, for a lot of us, like I said, this has always been my release. This is my drug of choice is to train. Push heavy things, and unfortunately, when that gets taken away, you just don't know how to react. And a lot of people you can mentally fall really quickly if you're not strong enough or stable enough in a mental health area. And unfortunately, we are seeing it quite a bit right now.
Yeah, I think you put it you said it really well right now. Like this is our quote unquote drug of choice is training. We love the gym. Um and that gym being removed, yeah, we can do so much at home, but at the end of the day, the gym for a lot of people is that little getaway for an hour or two from the real world.
Correct.
It's almost how they can just escape reality for an hour or two. And yeah, we can still train and still do things in our homes and stuff, but physically being at the gym means a lot to a lot of people.
Absolutely. Having those, heavy dumbbells right at your beck and call, or having the choice, I should say, to go on and do whatever type of exercise you want, and you have any machine available to you, for that particular area is something that we definitely took for granted, and now a lot of us are seeing it. And you have to come up and get really, really creative. Fortunately, we can both get really creative on our workouts, whether it's bands, dumbbell only, whatever it is. And we've had to do that these last 8 weeks. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think too, the gym provides that sense of community for a lot of people. Like they see the same faces every time they're at the gym. You have gym friends that are friends of yours at the gym, and you don't talk to them outside of the gym. They're just that's part of your gym community. Like,
Absolutely.
and I feel like a lot of people miss that part as well. Um, for those that training, sometimes training isn't their getaway. It's more so going to the gym and just being around all those people
The
is the
environment.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
the environment that benefits them a lot.
Yep.
So right
And,
now with all that being taken away, definitely has a toll on a lot of people.
yep. Not to mention, if you're in a prep, only God, you go, 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 and then, oh, show's moved. Then what do you do? I mean, that just deflates you.
Yeah, it deflates you. It confuses a lot of things. I mean, I've had I have a client out in California. He was supposed to compete May 2nd, then May 20 like 5th, and then again June 13th, and then muscle contest out there canceled all shows until July.
Yeah.
So we went from, you know, cutting hard, adding food back, cutting hard, adding food back, cutting, just a constant like yo-yo of things almost.
Right.
And then, you could see it in the athlete just get discouraged every time their show gets moved.
Right.
And these like I was joking yesterday, I said like these have been the world's longest contest preps. For a lot of these people it has been.
Yeah. I mean, we pushed last year. What was it? 20, 26 weeks
I would
roughly,
say
and
like
my body
24
gave
weeks,
up.
25 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, my body gave up, and we both know that. That
And
last.
that's with access to a gym.
Yeah. Now you're taking those preps even longer. How many more people? It's going to be when things get started. It's going to be a funny year on stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Um,
You're gonna see some weird physiques. Um, and then obviously you got the and with the especially with the national shows being so back to back to back to back, it's going to be the same guys coming back to back if they don't get what they want.
yeah.
So
Well, I know they changed. They put like the top five, I think, of the
correct.
open classes qualify now,
Yep.
and then just for this year.
Correct.
But the way national shows are being pushed back and rescheduled, it seems like it'll be next year as well
Correct.
because no local shows have even happened yet. I
No.
think there was like one show in Vegas that happened in early April, and then there was a few March shows that happened in Cali, like West Coast, but East Coast was shut down completely.
Yep. And now I know there's one organization who's doing an online show right now. Um,
Really?
and you send in the video. I mean, I understand the I guess the will to want to do something like that, but without standing next to somebody, you can't be judged.
No.
No matter what you say, it's extremely hard. Like we always say, that guy looks great in pictures. Then you put him next to somebody who has that 3D look, and he just blows them out of the water.
Mm, yeah, I didn't even know that there was something like that going on.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have people ask me all the time, when do you think shows will come back? When do you think shows will come back? I mean, obviously, I want them to come back as fast as possible, but just the way things are, it just looks a little different. How are shows going to be held with you needing to keep quantity of people down?
Correct.
Some of these shows have 100 competitors, but the law states you can only have 30 people in a building. How are we supposed to go about that? It's really weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
It'll have to be some sort of equation in my, per square footage, X amount of people per square foot.
Yeah, I know a lot of places that have reopened are all based on like fire marshal like occupancy.
Correct.
Like if
25% of occupancy.
yeah, whatever their occupancy is, it can only function at this amount, excluding employees. So
Yeah.
employees are fine, and then whatever percentage of occupancy they're allowed. But I wonder how the gyms are, because I have a friend, Justin Dees. He lives in Salt Lake City, and I know their gym's reopened. I don't know how it's working, like as far as walking in the door, and how many people are allowed in at once and whatnot. I'm curious to know, because the way other states are doing it would be good for like states like ours, Ohio, just to get a idea of how to do their gym when it finally reopens.
Right. But then, I don't know. It's a hard call because you just don't know what they're going to expect, and every state governor has each, they can make up their own mandates on how they do it. But yeah, it would be nice to see what's working, what's not working. Then like training partners is the other thing. Are you going to
Yeah,
be able to train with anybody?
I have no idea.
You know,
Like, are you going to be able to train with somebody, but you don't live in the same house?
correct.
Because that's the thing right now. If you live in the same house, you're allowed to stand next to each other. You're allowed to go do things like that. I can't believe I'm saying you're allowed to right now.
I
Like
know. I get
that.
it.
But if you live in the same house, you're allowed to go do those things together. So I wonder how that's going to work with training.
Yeah,
It's
definitely things
very
that
different.
nobody's
It's very
ever
different.
thought to consider. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's definitely different. I have a client that lives in South Korea, and they open their gyms, and it's like every other treadmill is turned off. Every other like cardio equipment is turned off. So like that way, like there's like at least a 4 foot, like what the
Yeah,
width of a treadmill is about 4 feet, 3 feet, and like at least that is the difference. And then they said like every other bench that was like bolted into the floor is removed. So like, because like a lot of gyms bolt their benches,
yeah,
so like they would remove every other one. So like instead of having 6 benches, there'd be three.
yeah.
So
I know. I know. You saw Jeff Robinson's post. He
what
actually
was
took a
it?
lot of his open space.
Oh yeah, he really spaced out his stuff.
Yeah, he took all of his cardio equipment and spaced them out, front, back, front, back. You know,
Yeah, yeah, he did a really good job with that. At least so he didn't have to, function with equipment down. He
yeah,
just spread it out more as best as he could. But see, like you said, there's no mandates. He doesn't know what the governor is going to require. They don't even talk about gyms.
no. And I think that's the most frustrating part is why haven't we even been in the conversation? You're talking about everything else, restaurants, bars, and you're letting factory workers go back to work.
Yeah, factory workers went back to work today, right?
Uh, 18th.
Oh, 8.
Construction went back today.
Oh, okay. Like the auto factories, I think. Yeah, you're right. They open like 10 days.
Yep. So
So
temperature checks, everything else that'll go along with it. But there's just a lot of small businesses are gonna really falter from this.
oh, I know quite a few that have just closed permanently. They didn't
Yep.
even bother anymore. They were just over it, which is sad because like we thrive on small businesses. That's what America is.
Yep. I know, but I guess no other choice at this point. So
Yeah.
not much we can really do.
Yeah, so like we wanted to talk a little bit about the stay at homes. Like, you know, what to do, how to make it as effective as possible. Um, we me and you have both posted a lot about like I had no problem with stay at homes in the beginning. We were, utilizing something we had really little data on. We didn't know the severity of this problem and
Yeah.
whatnot. We obviously didn't know if we would get overran in our medical infrastructure and all that. So stay at homes are initially were a very good idea,
Hmm.
just to see how things played out. And now we're to the point where hospitals don't even have enough patients to pay their doctors. Like they're being incentive, there's an incentive to, label somebody as COVID just to get paid, put them on a ventilator just to get paid. Now I don't know how true that is, but I mean it's in the CARES Act. You can read that in the CARES Act,
Yeah.
which is so why we're having doctors like this and hospitals on the verge of bankruptcy because they don't have enough um, patients, like smaller hospitals. I'm
Yeah.
saying. Um, so at this point, I don't know how benefit. I don't know if we're doing more damage with the stay at home than we are benefiting right now.
Right.
Just in all areas, every life lost is a life lost, and that's very sad. But we're getting to the point where kind of this is going a little wishy washy now.
Yeah. You're right. No, she stated yesterday that the 79 to 83 counties, and like we talked about, it's going to spread throughout the entire state, especially with people traveling. You know.
But yeah, for sure. It's definitely it's an inevitability that it's going to spread.
Yeah.
We have to we've accepted that it's going to spread. But we, I feel like the longer we hunker down and the slower we do things, I feel like we're just prolonging a second surge or a
Correct.
second influx. We're just prolonging that problem that we're going to have to deal with. Um, and then stay at homes as well. Like, you know, you're not going outside as much. You're not exercising regularly. You know,
Right.
people's immune systems people that weren't necessarily like active and so took place in like healthier choices and whatnot. Those people, those immune systems have gotten even weaker that
Yeah.
were already weak because now they're sitting home. They're moving barely. They're not going outside. They're not, they're drinking alcohol more than they used to drink alcohol. If
Yeah.
somebody drank alcohol once a month, they might be drinking it once a week now. Now, some people will be like, "Oh, well, that's not a big deal," but consecutively, it is.
Yeah. You're down regulating all your whole immune system. And once it does get back to normal, your immune system will be garbage. Like I work in a school, so I mean, I'm susceptible, or I'm exposed to just about everything. So my immune system is fairly good. This is knock on wood. It's been a pretty good year for me in that regard. But
Yeah,
I thought about doing a post the other day about all the vitamins that were plowing down my throat, or our throats here. Just to make sure that, and I go outside every day, at least for a little while. But I know I made that post about vitamin D yesterday, and not a lot of it doesn't get a lot of people have a hard time realizing that what you're doing, we're supposed to touch things, we're supposed to get back bad bacteria on it so our body does understand how to fight it off.
yeah,
And that, I guess, that's the harsh reality of it.
yeah. I saw a post about all the sanitizer and alcohol we're using,
Yeah.
like how much we're destroying like our like hand microbiome.
Yep.
That helps. It helps in the long run. It helps in the big picture
Yep.
for our immune system, our immune health. I feel like just after once we start, slowly going back to things as normal, people are going to be getting and held from a common cold
Yep.
just because they've been hunkered down like we've been talking. And one of the biggest things I think is an issue is we Michiganders have low vitamin D. Or if
Yeah.
we, obviously for some it's different, but there's a very high prevalence low vitamin D in our population because of how long our winters are. We don't get that much sunlight exposure. But the issue is we just came out of winter. Then we went into a stay at home. A lot of these people's like efficient insufficiency and deficiency just got prolonged even further.
Yeah.
So that's why we've been posting so much about vitamin D and how important it is. And it's kind of hard to judge if you have right now a deficiency or whatnot. So like you might need to um, get blood. You need to get blood work to make sure. But right now, a lot of people aren't going to go run and do that.
No.
So like I've been suggesting to people, like my clients take 2,000 IU's a day. Um, and I've been suggesting to people that have came to me and asked. I tell them 2,000 IU's a day is fine. Just keep it. You have to be very consistent with it so it builds up,
Correct.
and it's a very important part for our immune system.
Yeah. Like I take Morpho Omega, for the omegas, but it also has 5,000 IU's of vitamin D in it a day, which I didn't
Yeah.
even know. So I was still supplementing D3 at
On top
4,000
of it.
IU's plus on top of that, and so I'm taking about 10,000 IU's a day. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, who was I talking? I don't know how. I know. I know bolus doses. Like you see people with like deficiencies get prescribed like 50,000 IU's to take it once a month.
Yeah.
Um, and like it was, I read a meta analysis on vitamin D and how it protects against upper respiratory infections. And the people who had a deficiency that took a bolus dose like that didn't have as much as a protective effect as the ones who took it daily. So I wonder how that correlates between that.
I don't know. I mean, would it be the same as if a once a week dose of testosterone compared to two with the ebbs and flows? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Like there's like there's TRT with like test deca, and like they'll get like an administration of it once a month
Correct.
versus like the TRT that's like test sip, they'll do a shot every 10 days.
Hmm.
Things like that. Yeah, I guess I could see that being similar to why they do it like that.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know. I know, obviously that that would make more sense to me. Your body, your body builds up that total. All of a sudden the hormones rise and then the hormones pit again. Go down to a valley.
Yeah.
Just something to you wonder if that could be doing the same thing when you take that bolus dose, 20,000 IU's, every once a week.
Yeah, because I think our body can store excess vitamin D. I don't know how sure I am about that, but I think I read something similar
Yeah, I got
that
no.
said, yeah, I don't know. Dave had posted it. Dave had posted something on one of my posts.
Okay.
Dave was talking about the bolus doses and how like our body can store excess vitamin D. So I don't know. I'm not sure, but that'd be something to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I that's something I never looked into. Never something you really thought you had to. I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And then like, what else have had people use right now? Like besides vitamin D, you get a lot of questions on vitamin C, how effective it is.
Yeah.
Um, zinc is a big one.
Yep.
I think all those, just a general slew of vitamins is there's no problem with it. And a lot of people say like, oh, you can get it from food, but a lot of those people saying that aren't eating the foods that they need to
Yeah.
be eating
Like we've
to
talked
get
about the
those.
grocery stores and how they're more sold out of the the perishable, the non-perishables, or they have more of the non-perishables that you go in and all the vegetables are there. You go down to the frozen section, all the ice cream is gone.
Yeah, yeah. Like when we had the big panic, like now grocery stores I feel like are completely stocked back to where they were. I haven't had trouble finding anything. Have
Right.
you?
No.
Yeah. So like all these things, I remember it was crazy. Like all the pasta was off the shelves, but like the entire fruit section was full.
Yeah.
And I get that it's non-perishable versus perishable, but um, it makes you wonder, like how well are we educating everybody on healthier choices and things like that?
Well, yeah, like, and I know I've made a post to a lot of my people about how this is the perfect time to really go out and change your habits because you don't have that social distractions of going out
Yeah,
and, oh, you're at a gathering and there's alcohol, there's a ton of food. You're not having that right now. Whereas, so you got 20 more days, like we talked about.
yeah.
Perfect time to.
I've had a lot of people even sign up during this quarantine just because they wanted to. They were like, "Oh, you know what? I have the time now. I might as well, change my eating habits and stuff." Like they took they took the initiative to start now during all this because, like you said, like there's not those distractions they're used to.
Correct. You get. I mean, you and I both know you get on a plan and you follow it for a couple weeks, and it's like second nature.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, I got to
clockwork.
cook on this day. Oh, I got to prep. I got to get this and this ready. So
Yeah,
you already know.
yeah. Um, so how would you suggest training for people that don't have too much equipment? Like I've been telling people, your goal may have to shift right now.
Yeah.
You might not be able to, continue on a goal that has been your goal for a while because it requires things we don't have anymore.
Yeah. So obviously, if you're in a surplus right now, and we're trying to add mass, and you're limited to bands, 90% chance you're not going to add tissue unless you're a genetic freak. At this
Yeah,
point, I don't care how much food I throw at you, it's not going to happen. Or even, you you can have a fairly good training session with a bench and dumbbells. You can maintain tissue that way. But I think, if you have the weight that accommodates it, maybe you can add a bit of tissue, but not what you could, in a surplus
yeah,
and in a facility with that's fully equipped.
yeah. So how about what if somebody was in a deficit right now? Would like? I feel like they could continue trying to,
Yeah,
lose fat tissue. I
absolutely.
feel like
You
I
can
feel like right
equate.
now
You
a
can.
deficit might be a little bit easier.
Oh, absolutely. You can easily, you just, as long as you're able to get their heart rate up, you can do supersets, giant sets. I love to do that with anybody who is in a deficit, because then that heart rate gets really high. You don't need a gym for that. I mean, even you take an air squat, a lunge, and then you do
Yeah,
50 air squats, do 30 lunges, you're out of breath.
yeah, oh yeah. Like I've been having people that don't have access to cardio stuff do jumping jacks, high knees, and butt kicks. And
Yeah,
they're like, I'm dead after this cardio. And I said, yeah, because you're not used to this kind of stuff. You're used to walking on a treadmill at, 3 miles an
3 miles an
hour.
hour. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But that, and then sprints, another thing. Get out in front and go in a parking lot, go wherever where you got to go. Sprint. I know our
I,
high school track's open. I know that.
yeah. Yeah, the high school by me, people have been out there playing soccer. They've been running the tracks. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's allowed though. But
I go in, it's unlocked. They come and unlock it every day. When I go into work, we have a turnstile, and they unlock it every day.
oh
Uh,
wow.
so obviously must be allowed, and there's always 10 cars in the parking lot. But when I'm
I
at
mean
work,
that is outdoor activity. I
correct.
wouldn't see why that's not allowed.
Yeah, that would be that's the other, I guess, gray area too, though, because I know there's a couple gyms around here who have an outdoor area. So who knows?
No, I didn't even think of that.
Hmm.
I feel bad for a lot of gym owners because
Absolutely.
of how forgotten they've been by our leadership right now.
Yeah.
They don't even talk about that.
No,
They talk about restaurants, they talk about bars, they talk about the mall, they talk about everything except gyms.
I know.
Why?
And we've seen plenty of studies that are saying that that being able to exercise properly and eat well is 90% of the battle right now.
Yeah, and we've talked about how I feel personally that America was hit this hard by this because of how unhealthy we are as a country.
Yeah.
Our obesity rate is extremely high.
Yep.
And with obesity, we have so many underlying diseases.
Yeah.
If with and we knew that COVID was a lot worse for people with underlying diseases,
Yeah.
and obesity was a big reason why people were so nervous about it coming to America, because they
Yep.
knew it would hit America really hard because of how much of our population is like that.
Correct.
Um, and it's sad to see because you could look at countries like Japan. Japan has a really is locked down just as us.
Hmm.
Tokyo is has a higher population than New York City and is a little bit bigger square mileage than
Yeah.
Detroit. But I don't think the country's had over 1,000 deaths, and that's because of how healthy they are as a country.
Yep.
And they also do things like they bow, they don't shake hands and stuff like that. But the population density is what I'm trying to get at is how and the health of the country.
Absolutely. I mean, even you just look at composition. In I mean, I've been to Europe. I've been Ireland for 3 months of my life, and just looking around and seeing the difference in composition. You walk everywhere in Europe. You
Yeah,
know, you don't drive, and you drove. We walked. We took a train, and or a bus. It was all public transportation,
yeah,
and you had to be out and moving, which I'll attest because I know that they definitely like to go back to a pub and hit on a couple almost every night. So that not a whole, but they also have different regulations too on how their meat's raised, so on and so forth.
yeah. It's just like it's different. Like my brother-in-law lived in Japan for a while, and he never even needed a car. He rode his bike everywhere. He walked everywhere, ran everywhere. That's all they do over there in those kind of big cities.
Yeah.
And then it's just even the way they ate. He told me he's like their portion sizes were the size of your palm. Like
Hmm.
you would get steak that was the size of your palm, and then a little cup of white rice on the side, and that was your dinner. That was your meal 3 times a day,
Yeah.
and that's all you ate. And they just
I
eat
remember.
really healthy food.
Yeah, we went to McDonald's, and it was myself and a gentleman from Chicago, and we ordered a large size, and it was our small in America.
Wow.
The paper fries, and it was like, oh, okay, I see how it goes here.
Yeah. I mean,
Bigger is better.
I've been talking to people too. I feel like this was almost kind of a good, not I wouldn't say good thing, but it I think it'll benefit a lot of people after this because they realize how serious they need to take their health. Um, you know, and if people start realizing that things like obesity are reversible, you can you can come out of that with dieting and exercise. So I'm really curious to see how once gyms are back into functioning and everything, how many people are actually going to take that step and move forward a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully that it'll all change. I mean, you can be hopeful and frustrated at the same time that you have a second New Year's resolution wave after it's all done. But
Yeah, it'll be quarantine resolution.
yeah, people really have to. Some people they're fueled by money. Other people is fueled, by competition.
Yeah,
Loss record, a lawyer, something like that. Stuff, and a lot of people just put their health on the back burner for that. They don't understand how adequate. You get adequate sleep, and that's proper recovery. How many guys do you know that are trained and they probably could be really really good at what they do, but they sleep 4 or 5 hours a night.
yep, and it's ruining a lot of stuff for them. Yeah, that's
You
another
know?
thing about these stay-at-homes. People are staying up till 3, 4 in the morning and, waking up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, they're just like, there's just so many things about this stay-at-home that, like, on a nutrition, on a, exercise level are not doing the benefits for anybody.
Yep. It would be nice, like I said, if people would really take a hold of, but I don't know. Some will, some won't.
So, yeah, some will, some won't.
I
It's
mean,
hard to find motivation right now for a lot of people to do things,
yeah, I mean,
especially
even
if they
if you,
lost their job.
and then, but you also look at like, and I'm not, I would say it's more so the fast food restaurants when you drive up through their drive-throughs. They're always packed now.
Oh, they're way more full than they used to be.
Yep. Nobody wants
And
to, I
all
mean, you don't want to cook.
no, a lot of people don't want it. I was talking about this. A lot of people worked a lot, so they didn't have time to cook at home. They would eat out at work in the cafeteria at their workplace or whatever it was. All that now has translated into their home. They don't
Yep.
cook still. They're still ordering, grabbing fast food, doing all those things. Um, you know, but like you said about fast food, I was driving yesterday and the fast food restaurants have lines that go around the building.
Yep. And my daughter wanted a chicken pot pie from KFC. I went to three KFCs, and I mean, I waited, and none of them. It's just one of those things like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
but like you said, and that's the, and now they're talking meat shortage, so everybody's going to start hoarding that.
Yeah, I haven't read a lot about that. I saw the headline, but I don't even believe headlines anymore. I can't even take
I know.
anything
I
anymore.
don't. I'm not even paying attention to much. Head down, do my thing.
Yeah, that's how I've been now. Like I was like weirdly obsessed with it all, and then I just
I
was
know.
like, I can't even do this anymore. I'm just over it.
That's what I said. I'm over it. I can't. I get people text me every day about certain things. I'm like, I don't. It doesn't matter. I don't care
Yeah,
anymore.
it doesn't matter. Any Facebook post, it's not going to change anything.
No,
That's going on right now.
no. Like you said, what was the last one? Just drive to Ohio as soon as they open up gyms.
Yeah, like I know guys
That'll
out
end up.
West Michigan that want to drive to Indiana.
Yeah, but
Take an hour or two drive to the gym.
yeah. Hey, some guys
Why
have
not?
done it.
I'm sure they have.
You know,
Didn't wasn't it was it Flex or not Flex? Was it Dexter that used to drive like an hour to go train at Gold's Gym?
Sean Roden was
Oh,
driving
Sean
3 hours a
Roden. Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Three
that's what
hours. He was in Santa Barbara driving to Venice every day.
that's what I thought it was. Yeah. So look at that.
Yeah,
That's without a quarantine.
yeah. But they also don't have jobs though either, so they're paid by supplement companies. We're not
Yeah.
that fortunate, but
No, we are not. But we're all healthy now, so that's good.
yep, stay with
Do you
it.
know anybody that had it?
One of my cousins, and then my cousin's kid had it.
Yeah. How'd they feel?
She was 3, so she had pneumonia, but they kept her at home, monitored everything, and she's all right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a
So,
few clients that got it pretty. I got one client that got it really bad. He lost like 18 pounds, like
oh,
was out of commission for like 2 weeks straight. Another one of my friends had it for like 11 days. But then
yeah,
I had a client that lives in New Jersey and was sick for like 3 days.
yeah. Well, I told you, one of our friends had it, and it took
Oh
him about
yeah,
21 days.
yeah. I mean, it, my uncle has been on a ventilator for the past 22 days.
That's unreal.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure now it's that he's not dealing with COVID anymore. He's dealing with the aftermath of COVID
Yeah,
because it COVID. If you have a bad case of COVID, it destroys your lungs.
yeah. You almost wonder if it's gonna build up scar tissue,
Yeah,
like a
there's
lot of
a lot of
diseases.
there's a lot of lung damage that comes with like, intense upper respiratory
Yeah,
infections. Uh, and well, lung damage would be a lower respiratory infection. So like it could get pretty bad. But he was a smoker for a long time. Um, but it's crazy how it does affect people differently.
yep. But I mean, I guess that would just go to how strong is your immune system. You know, I mean
Yeah.
that's the only thing that I can correlate it with is if your white cells can get to it in time and attack it, and or like you said, you have proper zinc in in your system, then it's not replicating.
Yeah, like one of my other friends who works for Beaumont, he tested positive for antibodies and never felt sick.
Yep. Well, I
So
know
it's
we had one of my daughter's appointments. Uh, we had a my oldest has asthma, my youngest doesn't. But then Michelle recalled that our youngest had beginning stage pneumonia Christmas Eve, and then my father-in-law got really sick for like 3 weeks. My mother-in-law got really sick for 3 weeks. So and that actually our pediatrician wasn't too keen on the antibody test until she heard that. So
oh wow.
you probably should get it done because you don't know. You could have had it and never known.
Yeah. Yeah, and like out in California that's really prevalent. Like people were so sick in November, December, and they just were coming they flu-like symptoms, pneumonia. That's what they were seeing a lot of. Um, so you wonder how long it actually was here for.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we got?
Well, we're at 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I guess we are. Oh, damn.
We could keep the first one a little short, let people get the feel, and then we can come back. We'll start talking about nutrition stuff and Q&As and whatnot. We'll leave
Yeah,
this COVID alone.
yeah, I know. I don't. First and last, we'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
I think
But
that's on that's all everybody wants to talk about or think about.
yeah,
So
but no, it was a good intro episode.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so this is Dominic. I'm Dom. He's Nate, and we just recorded our first podcast. So please share it, spread the word, and we will have some more content for you guys.
Yes. Take it easy.